I lost 30 pounds in just 90 days without being on a diet or exercise constantly. In this video, I'm going to explain why all the diets you tried before failed and what to do instead to lose weight. First thing is that diets tell you what to eat, but not how to handle the emotions that drive eating. What I mean by that is that diets give you a specific nutritional plan. Do this, eat that, but they don't tell you what to do with the emotions, with the scenarios that come up. Usually, you are dealing with those things with eating, but right now food is taken away from equation, so you're left with nothing. This is true for people who are struggling with emotional eating and binge eating, because food has some other function for us except just nutrition. Food is doing job for us, which leads me to second point, that since we are using meals as a comfort relief, it can be support, it can be any other emotion. The stress is very common one, and boredom also. If we take away the food and you don't know how else to deal with that, you won't be able to stay on the diet for long, which makes sense, right? Because you don't have any other tools. The only tool you had was taken away, and now you're left with nothing. You won't be able to survive that scenario. They are removing coping tool without replacing it. And what happens is that you are hoping for the motivation, you are hoping that it will work, that your willpower will push you through those scenarios, but it's not, because when you just start the diet, motivation is spiked, right? You are very excited, something new, something promising. Now you know that you will finally reach the body you always dreamed of. But a couple of days into the diet, that motivation fades. It becomes a routine. It's not exciting anymore. And emotions start to show up. The emotions you're not addressing because you don't have food to address it anymore, so you are left hopeless. And you don't know how to feel safe, how to feel comforted, or how to relieve from stress, and you relapse. That's why most diets are very difficult to maintain. Issue with relapse is not fact that you are eating or you are overeating once, but the fact that it keeps happening continuously. You had this coping mechanism to deal with specific emotion. Let's take stress right now as an example. I'm feeling stressed, so I'm giving myself a chocolate to regulate my emotions. Then I go on a diet, and what happens is that I'm always stressed. I don't know how to deal with it anymore because I don't have a chocolate anymore. It's not allowed for me to eat. In the end, either I will stop the diet and have my chocolate because my stress is at the highest level right now and I can't deal with it anymore, so I'm relapsing, or I will push through for those time frames of the diet. I will finish the diet, I will lose the weight, but then I will go back to eating chocolate because I love chocolate. I like it. It's one of my favorite foods. I cannot say no to it forever. And when you go back to normal eating, you're gonna start gaining weight back because chocolate is something that still helps you deal with stress. So even though you are able to successfully complete the nutrition and change your nutritional habits around the food, you were not able to address the emotional part, which food was helping you with, and that habit didn't go anywhere. So the moment you finished your diet, you went back to using food for your emotional needs. So what happens in the end is that you are still in the cycle of very strict plan, which creates this pressure and ends with binge and shame. And the cycle continues and it becomes never ending, like a rat race. What to do to have successful weight loss instead of trying very restrictive diets is to, first of all, name the thing that food is doing for you emotionally. What is that we use food for? Like when I was a child, it was very common the sweets were used as a reward. So when I started going to university, every time I would get good grades, I would reward myself with sweet treats. Or if I wanted comfort and I was feeling very down, I would I always had this excuse to have something sweet, specifically chocolate, because I love chocolate, because it would make me feel better. If you are someone who struggles with emotional eating or binge eating, I can guarantee you that there is at least one emotion that you are dealing with: food. If you will be able to detach food from that specific emotion, you will start losing weight without any other work. Second thing is to map out what is your pattern. The very big downside about emotional eating and emotional regulation with food is the fact that it's a habit. You're not noticing it anymore because your brain saw you do it several times in a row and it already made it into a habit, and now you don't know you're actually doing it. So what to do in that scenario is to track everything. And I know it sounds complicated, but it really isn't. Basically, you are tracking 3 days in a row and you will see what are the things you're doing the most. What are you feeling before you have a binge episode? What are you feeling afterwards? Make them very descriptive. Like, be completely transparent with yourself. Write down everything that you felt and you will start noticing the patterns. A third thing to do is to build a replacement for the job that food is doing. If we break it down to very, very small particles, what we'll find out is that food is doing some type of work to help you regulate your emotions when you are struggling with binge eating. And if you will find things that you can regulate your emotions with, there will be no need for food anymore. So your binge episodes will decrease and it will happen naturally without you forcing yourself to stop eating in the moment. There are a bunch of different ways people are able to regulate their emotions. My favorite ones are body reset. I always go for a walk because I have a lot of energy. Breathing exercises are very simple. You can do them from anywhere. You can also connect with people. The communities are a perfect place for that. If you want to find a supportive community about binge eating, you can join my free Skool community, which will be in the description below. Any type of connection, you can have a friend, you can call or just text or journal as well. They help you to take away your emotions, like show them. Decompression is also one of the good ways to achieve that, which can be dancing or listening to music. Next thing, which is extremely important, is to change the rules to believable things. Make the achievable goals. I know it is extremely tempting to lose 10 pounds in just 2 weeks or stop thinking about food constantly after 2 minutes of the exercise. But unfortunately, that is not an achievable goal. And with weight loss, we all want to have the fastest progress possible, but usually those type of successes are not maintainable because we are gaining weight back, or they are very dangerous for health. So changing rules and making more acceptable, more believable, more probable goals is one of the biggest things that will change your weight loss journey and your recovery journey as well. My mostly used tool is to be prepared for difficult days, because weight loss journey is not a linear journey, right? It's always with spikes and flows. Having a plan for something unexpected sounds impossible and all may be difficult, but we don't want to know how to deal with the situation. We want to know how to deal with the emotions which will come with this situation. So we will be tired, we will be stressed, we will be sad maybe, or angry. Bunch of emotions there, right? And it also counts for the good emotions, because if you're extremely happy, extremely excited, very, very joyful, those emotions also make us want to eat, because at that scenario we will using food as a reward. Making the plan will help you be prepared what to do when you're getting more stress than you usually get. The last part, let's talk about outcomes. It will bring less pressure and fewer binges because restriction was not constantly building attention. Second thing, which was useful not only with the weight loss journey but with the personal life, the more emotional stability will come because you have more tools, which right now you will be using for the food and for binges, but you can always transfer them into your day-to-day life. Less irritability and reactivity with people. I am pretty sure you have been at least on a one diet where everybody around you irritates you, they make you so angry, you don't even want to talk or even see them, is the huge one, right? The issues with the diets are that we are not able to do it for the long term. We can't be consistent because they are very restrictive and they are draining life out of us. With the plan, which is personalized for you, and I don't mean just a nutrition plan or exercise plan. I mean plan which includes your emotional state, which includes your day-to-day life in it, and adjusts to it instead of you being forced to adjust to that because it's not maintainable. Weight loss becomes possible when root problem is addressed. If you are addressing the main issue which causes you to binge, it is regulating your emotions, you will be able to lose weight without intentionally focusing on weight loss. That's what I did. And the conclusion, let's do the small summary, which is that diets fail when food is your emotional support system. When you are only given tools to keep up with the nutrition, you will not be able to do it for long term because you are using food for more than just a nutrition. The fix is replacement, not restriction. I am pretty sure that restriction never worked. When you restrict something, you are putting pin on them, saying that you will be center of my attention now. Because when you can't have something, that's what you want. Like the example of the door, right? When somebody tells you to not open the door, you get so curious that you want to open the door. That's the only thing you think about. If nobody mentions it, you will pass through the door several times and you will not even notice it. That's what happens with food as well. And I'm pretty sure you have been in a diet where that happened. There was one food which was not allowed and you couldn't stop thinking about it. You could even taste it and you would start seeing it everywhere. Next one is identifying the job food is doing. We already talked about importance of that one. That is my loophole in the weight loss. That is how I was able to lose weight without torturing myself, without creating this schedule which would make me starve all the time. Once you know what is the job food has except fueling you and keeping you alive, you will be able to change it. Next one is the importance of installing 2 or 3 tools that are doing same job without collateral damage. What I mean is if the emotion you are experiencing the most is stress and boredom, have some things to do when you are stressed and bored, and food will lose its sparkle. And the last one is to have a separate plan you can repeat on hard days. And that was all for today. If you're interested in more, you can always join my free Skool community. Bye!